Hey coach, so glad you found us. Couple things. First of all, subscribe. Please go over and do that. That will keep you updated with everything that we're doing. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to put hardware in your basement, if you want to win more games, let me help you do that. I will give you my personal email address. We'll do one-on-one calls. We'll do office hours, less than $1 a day, 14-day free trial. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video.
Hi, Doug Skockle here again from Johnson County Community College in Overland Park, Kansas. Got a really good video for you here today to talk about how to become a better shooter. The three things we're going to focus on and be able to shoot this basketball better is number one, we're going to learn how to have good distance judgment. Next thing we're going to talk about is how to have the proper amount of arch on the shot. And finally, and I think maybe might be the most important part of it, is to be able to shoot the ball straight. All right, the first of those three factors that we talked about is distance judgment. And the thing that I find that, that's not a hard thing for most players to be able to do. That they can get the ball to go pretty much a correct distance. That's not a hard thing for them to achieve. But what I have found is that what you're looking at, we call it targeting, what you're looking at really makes a difference in getting that distance to go, the precise amount. Now, here's what I found out about in targeting is that, a lot of things in shooting, they take this kind of a one-size-fits-all approach. I don't find that to be the case at all. I find that in 47 years of studying shooting, that there's a lot of different factors that I may have one targeting skill that works best for me, and someone else has a second targeting skill, and a third person has even yet another targeting skill. So we're going to talk about the common targeting practices here and the pros and cons of it, and let you decide on which one of those is going to help you to be able to shoot the basketball the distance that you wanted. So again, a lot of people talk about either looking at the front of the rim. Josh, you can zero in right here to this spot where I'm pointing at on the rim. You got that? You got it right there? Okay. So what you're finding is a tiny piece of the rim closest to you. So even though this isn't the front of the rim as it relates to the backboard, it would be the front of the rim if you were shooting from this angle right here. And so what you do is you find a tiny spot on the rim, and your objective is to shoot the ball softly just over the rim. Now, I think for me, that's the second best way to shoot. When your objective, again, is to shoot the ball softly just over that spot. The front of the rim, being over 20 inches away from the backboard, is not solidly anchored, and so if a ball hits the front of the rim, there's a little give, a little vibration, softens the basketball, and will allow the ball sometimes to crawl into the basket. All right. On the other hand, some people say, let's look at the back of the rim. Now, that's my least favorite. This part, first of all, you tend to hit what you look at. And so if you're going to catch that back iron, this thing is only about 4 inches away from the backboard, solidly anchored into the backboard. And when the ball hits this part, it's not going to, there's no give. The ball's going to come away pretty hard. Now, I have a third method, and hang on, I'll just get that here real quick. All right, this third method I call the bullseye method, and this is the one. That I prefer right here. You have to pardon my little homemade target, but I'm sure it'll get across the idea. I really favor this. There was a guy who went to the U.S. Army back in the early 1900s, and he said, "I can help your marksmen shoot, perform, and have better scores." When they're shooting their rifles than they currently get, if you'll pay me X amount of money. And they said, well, if you can increase our scores, we'll pay you X amount of money. And so what he did talk to him about, he says, we're not going to shoot at the bullseye. He said, we're going to shoot at the center of the bullseye. So you can see that I have put a little black dot inside of our bullseye right here. So I'm not shooting for the yellow, I'm shooting for the black, and maybe even a smaller circle than that black dot represents right there. But the Army termed it was pinpoint accuracy. And so that's, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's my objective. When I'm shooting the basket, I am trying to shoot the ball not at the basket. I'm going to shoot the ball above the basket. And I want the ball to drop. I want the center of the ball, bottom center of the ball, to drop right where that black dot is. And by doing so, I mean, I can shoot the ball pretty good even in my advanced age here. I'm almost 73 years old. Because I think I've got a good objective. It makes sense to try to hit what you're looking at. So I'm not going to tell you that looking at the front of the rim is bad. It may be great for you. I'm not going to tell you that the back of the rim is bad. It may be great for you. I'm telling you that this one works best for me, and has worked best for any players that have had problems with targeting. It's worked best for them as well. Now, one thing that we do, Josh, if you could take a shot up there at the basket real quick. Just take a look up there, and what we're seeing is when you look up there, you're looking through the underside of the basket. All right, now come back to me. Okay, now come back to me. So you're looking through the underside of the basket right now. Maybe you can zoom in just a little bit so you can pick up the target. And can you see the black dot in there? Okay. So I'm envisioning a target, kind of a two-sided target, with the concentric rings on the top of the target and on the bottom. But most players are looking through the bottom of the basket. And so when I look up there, that's what I see in my mind, in my imagination. I see that black dot right there. Okay. All right, so our second factor in shooting success deals with arch. And I'm going to give you some information here. It's probably more information you really need or would want. But I like to educate people, give them as much information as I can, and then you decide how you want to use it. But I think it'll help you in understanding how to help a kid with the amount of arch that he's putting on a basketball. So I want you to think about this. Imagine you and I've decided that you and I are going to have a shooting contest. And we're each going to put $100 in it. It's kind of like we're going to make a bet who can make the most free throws. All right, we're going to shoot 100 of them. But here's the deal. I get to shoot at a 16-inch rim. You are going to shoot at a 12-inch rim. Okay? And you put your $100 in, I put my $100 in. Well, right away you're saying, wait a minute. That doesn't seem very fair. You know what? You're right. It isn't fair. And yet, this is what happens with a lot of kids who have a flat shot. They don't have a reasonable amount of arch. What they're doing is the flatter your shot, the less available space there is for the ball to fit into the basket. And so I want to talk to you about that so you can use that as an argument for a kid that shoots the ball, not enough arch. So let's take a look at what we've got over here. You can see I've got a clock, 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock right here. We're going to talk about some launch angles, right, shooting the basketball. Now, from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock is a 30-degree angle. From 9 around here to 11 o'clock is a 60-degree angle. And obviously, 9 to 12 is a 90-degree angle. All right, so we're going to take a look from 15 feet and inside of 15 feet. Here's what we found. That when you shoot at a 60-degree launch angle, in other words, I came down here like this right now and matched this up to my shoulder. If I had a follow-through matched up to 11 o'clock right there, that's a 60-degree launch angle. All right? Well, here's what we found. Now, these are not, the top lines here, 12, 14, 16 inches, aren't precise numbers, but they give you an idea of what we're trying to talk about. So a kid from 15 feet and in, if he shoots with a 60-degree launch angle, he's going to have 16 of the 18 inches of that inside diameter to fit the basketball through. All right? So that's 11 o'clock. If I drop it to 10:45, which is a 52.5 degrees, 7.5 degrees lower. Again, I'm giving you more than you want to know, but bear with me. You've dropped you've decreased the amount of space available now for that ball to fit to 14 inches. And then if you drop down here to 10:30 or 45 degrees, by the way, I'm just shooting camps all over the country. I go around the summertime and do camps. People have me come in. And this is a real common launch angle. It's 10:30. 10:30 says you're only going to be able to use 12 of those 18 inches. And it's going to be really difficult for you to make a lot of shots under those circumstances. Now, I want to come back to this 60-degree launch angle. From beyond the free throw line, it's difficult to shoot with a 60-degree launch angle for two reasons. One is, the higher you shoot the ball, two things happen. One is, it requires more force, because if I'm going to do 60-degree launch angle in three-point range, for example, that ball is going to travel real high, and that means it's going to travel a long distance, okay? And so what happens is that I have to apply more force. And if I apply more force, a lot of times I incorrectly will recruit that strength from my upper body, from my arms and wrists and hands and fingers. And I don't ever want more than 20% of my effort strength to come from my arm-hand unit right there. The second thing is that when you shoot it real high like that, now you have a law of physics takes over, where a falling object, as I'm trying to remember this, falls at a rate of 32 feet per second, which means I shoot it real high, and the ball starts falling faster and faster from that higher distance, and now the ball tends to hit hard on the rim because it's traveling at a faster speed. All right, so those are two factors. So what we have found is that the 52.5 degree launch angle is the one you want from beyond 15 feet. Now there may be kids who can pull it off. Again, this is not a one-size-fits-all. I'm just talking about some of the things that that you take into consideration right here. So anyway, 52.5 degrees is going to give you a pretty adequate space to fit that basketball in, and that's part of the reasons why you're farther away. That's why that three-point shot is worth more points. It's a more difficult shot, not just because it's farther out, but because there's a tendency to shoot with maybe just a little bit flatter shot and reducing the amount of space that you have to work with. All right, so let's talk about what is reasonable arch. You're not going to run around with your players and say every time they get a shot, hey, let me get this board in here and let's check your launch angle, so on and so forth. So how do you know what's a reasonable launch angle? Well, there's is what I call ball-basket interaction. Anytime that you shoot the ball at the basket, the results, whether you make it or miss it, leave evidence of what happened that allowed that shot to do any one of a number of things. All right, so the basketball and rim interaction gives you a great indicator if your kid has good arch or not. And here's how you determine if you've had reasonable arch. Okay, there's three ways the ball is going to interact with the basket with proper arch. Number one, you are going to get more swishes, because if you are shooting the ball higher, you're using more available space to fit the ball into here. The second thing that you're going to have is what I call deflected makes. Once again, I'm coming in, more arch means I'm coming in at a steeper angle, and the basketball will catch the rim and deflect downward into the basket. So we have deflected makes. Right? We got swishes, you'll have more deflected makes, and then the third one is what I call rim dancers, where the ball will come in and go bounce, 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 and falls into the rim. A lot of people say, well, I was lucky. And as soon as I see that, I say that kid was not lucky. That kid had reasonable arch, and the ball comes down soft in that situation. It doesn't rebound away hard. Now, if you have a kid that shoots the ball flat, of course, you've reduced the amount of available space to fit the ball into, and so you're going to have, again, rim-basket interaction. And what you're going to see here is what I call rim rattlers. You're going to have balls that will come up here and they'll go, they'll rattle back and forth and pop out. You'll also have balls that will catch the rim and come away hard because, again, it's such a shallow angle they can't deflect down into the basket. So those are some pretty common things for you to look at to make that determination. So if you've got a kid, again, it's just there are some kids that shoot flat and they just don't want to shoot with arch. It's so ingrained in them they're going to they just can't make the change. And so this device, this is something I made. Went to Home Depot and got PVC pipe and cut it up, put this thing together, about 20 bucks worth, I guess. And Josh, you want to pan in here real close? We'll just kind of, the parts I'm showing here, I think these are about a foot long. That's a foot long. That's a foot long. That's about a foot. This is about a foot. Again, foot to foot. This piece, I've got it so I can break it down into two. That's coming up about, I don't know, 4 feet or so. Next piece is going up about 4.5 feet. A little cross piece at the top. And I am no handyman, so if I can put this thing together and make one, you can too. But anyway, this takes all the instruction out of it or everything else. You simply set this thing between your player and the basket, and you'll have to do some adjusting. All right, and I want to tell you this: that when you work with this thing, and a kid who has not used good arch before, has not used reasonable arch, they are going to shoot short at times in the beginning. But if you keep them on this thing and they keep shooting, the brain will figure out. It'll say, "Oh, I see, I get it. We're going to shoot with more arch now, so I'll supply more power." And it'll start to happen. But just be forewarned, there will be times they'll shoot a little short at first. But once they get this ingrained in them, the number of baskets going to make are going to, that'll far outweigh any little momentary problem, with not getting the ball the correct distance. All right, so our third and final factor is being able to shoot the basketball straight. And I think this is the most important of the three. I want you to think about this. You could be not have quite the proper arch, but if the ball's shot straight, it still has a chance to get in the basket, okay? And you could be maybe not quite have your distance on. You might be a little short, a little long, but if you're straight, the ball can still go in the basket. But if you shoot right or left, you can have the perfect arch, you can have the perfect distance. If you're right or left, that basketball's not going to go in the basket. And so I like to talk to our players about good misses and bad misses. And of course, the first time I talk about it, they look at me like bad, good misses. What's a good miss? Well, here's the deal. A player that misses right or left, those are bad misses. Those are really difficult to correct. And I will have some upcoming videos where we'll talk about how to have great mechanics and how to, the things that you have to do to be able to shoot the ball straight. But right or left is, there's stuff going on that's kind of difficult to correct. But if you're a little long, a little short, let's say I shoot the ball, I'm straight, a little bit long, easy correction. I'll shoot a little shorter next time. If I'm short, easy correction. I'll shoot a little bit stronger next time. So again, probably one of the better illustrations I can give you is of learning how to make a basketball straight is throwing darts at a dartboard. We had that target here earlier. We'll pretend that the dartboard is that target is right where Josh is right now, and I'm going to throw some darts at that thing. So I want you to watch me throw these darts. Okay. And so what I have going on here is that I didn't have a dart coach, but the body knows how to get things aligned. And if I can keep the elbow makes the dart go straight, okay, the elbow is going to make the basketball go straight. Now, here's the things that you need to be aware of that I think stop people from, a couple of things that stop people from being able to shoot the ball straight and get their body parts aligned so it's easy to shoot the ball straight. All right, so there's a couple of things that I think can help you right off the bat be able to shoot the basketball straighter. And that deals with, a lot of times you hear people say, square up for your shot. I mean, you hear that over and over, square up for your shot. And I'm telling you this right now, I have studied the best shooters in the world for over 40 years, and I don't see anybody squaring up. I see their face squared up, but I don't see their body lined up. I see every good shooter, including, I've watched some videos of some good shooters who are doing an instructional video, and they say square up, and yet when you watch the film, when you watch them shooting, they are not square. The face is square to the target, but every good shooter has a lead shoulder and a trail shoulder. They are not square. And you'll also find, Josh, you can go down to my feet, that notch in your shoe right there where the other shoe fits in, and I move back there, so I've got a lead foot and a trail foot, right? My shoulders are going to match that line right across there. I've got my left foot slightly withdrawn. I'm a right-handed shooter. And so I have a lead shoulder and a trail shoulder. And the reason for that is, again, when I was throwing darts, I turned slightly And what it does is allows now this alignment process, the hand, the elbow, the knee, and the toe on this side, they all get lined up in kind of a little narrow elevator chute, and it lets my eye get involved in that little vertical plane also, so that it's easier for me to aim. If I'm squared up, what happens with players is the ball now starts to come in front of their face. And now you have a problem with what they say, the elbow's out. The elbow isn't out. The ball is what's making the elbow go out. Move the ball back where it's supposed to go. Watch what the elbow does. Okay, so the elbow makes the basketball go straight. So again, I'm going to be slightly turned with my upper body matching the angle of my feet right there. And now I can get this eye involved in helping me to align for the shot. All right, so the last thing I want to do right now is to give you a little bit of a, I don't know if I call it a drill or a competition that we use that really helps us become more accurate free throw shooters. Everybody's always trying to find ways to shoot free throws better, and so what I want to do is I want to talk to you about a competition. You can either do this as a league within your team. All your team members are going against everybody else, so every day there's a competition. And you create a round robin, you keep league standings, and those league standings change from day to day. But now at Mesa State, we had a free throw ladder, and if you will email me, and I'll put my email address on here, if you'll email me, I'll send you a picture of our free throw ladder, and with an explanation of how we work that into our competition. But we use this game, either the league standings or the free throw ladder. Whoever's at the top on Thursday going into the weekend's game is going to be our captain and is automatically going to shoot all technical free throws. It's automatic. And if they happen to be not in the game, then they get to choose someone to shoot in their place. But the free throw game works like this. Let's say each one's going to shoot 10 or 15. I don't know what number of free throws you're going to shoot with your kids. But let's say we're going to shoot 15 free throws today. All right? So I'm going against Josh. And every time we shoot, we grade the quality of the free throw. And so the scoring works like this. I shoot a ball and I swish it. That's worth 3 points. Okay? Josh shoots a ball and he makes it, but it nicks the rim. It hits the rim one time. That's a 2-point free throw. All right? If I then shoot and I hit the rim more than once, okay, so it goes bounce, maybe even bounce the third time, it goes in, that's worth 1 point. And a miss, of course, is worth 0. So Josh and I can be involved in a free throw contest. We could both go 15 for 15, but if Josh has 12 swishes, he's probably going to beat me pretty handily. And so what happens is instead of kids just trying to make free throws, now they're trying to really be as accurate as they can because they know that swishes and deflected makes score more points for them. So in conclusion, if you can learn to have good distance judgment, which targeting is part of that, if you can get reasonable arch, and if you can learn to shoot the ball straight, you're on your way to becoming a better basketball shooter.
Hey coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like before you leave. And also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's got everything and a roadmap for you to become a better basketball coach. So go over and check it out. And let's head back to the next video, wherever that would be.